George Cyril Phillips and the crew of the aircraft Short Sunderland Mark III had been on an operational patrol. The sea state at Bowmore was not ideal that day, and it was expected that after dark it would be too rough to land aircraft. The original landing time back at Bowmore had been 18:10, which being just before last light, and it was decided by flying control not to divert the crew to Lough Erne in Northern Ireland. At 5 p.m. the situation was reviewed and the flare path was laid in the calmest area of water available should the aircraft arrive a little late. Shortly after, the crew made contact with Bowmore stating that they would be 50 minutes late. At this point, they were told that if they had sufficient fuel, they were to divert to Lough Erne. However, at the time the aircraft was contacted, they only had some 45 minutes fuel remaining and were unable to divert. Over an hour late and in near complete darkness, they arrived back overhead at Bowmore. The flare path was ignited and Captain Lever was told that he could not overshoot his landing as the landing area finished close to where other aircraft were moored. He then warned his crew to expect a rough landing and gathered them in the upper deck around the cockpit. They began their approach overland from the north, intending to cross the northern shore of Loch Indall at 200 feet and touch down as soon as possible. While approaching the coast, the port float struck a building near the shore, and the aircraft crashed a short distance beyond it. A fire quickly took hold, and the crew began to evacuate the aircraft. At least 9 had survived the crash. Captain Lever was spotted by Sergeant Hogg wandering on the shore ahead of the aircraft, and he called to Sergeant Williams that they should go and get him. As the 2 sergeants reached their captain, about 30 yards away, the aircraft's depth charges detonated, destroying the aircraft and killing outright the men who were still around the wreck to help pull trapped colleagues from the aircraft. George Cyril Phillips was one of those rescuers killed in the explosion.
(1214033) Sergeant George Cyril Phillips, air gunner, Royal Air Force, died January 24, 1943, aged 32.